Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this will be your weekly astrology forecast for the week of February 11th to the 17th of 2024. This is Valentine's week, so will there be love this week? Or are we just going to continue on with the change and all the stuff we've been experiencing already? Let's take a look at the charts for this week. Alright, so for this week, we actually don't have anything major peaking on Sunday the 11th here, so we're going to move on to Monday the 12th. So now on this day, on Monday the 12th, we're going to have Mars here entering into Aquarius. So it's just showing here at the 29 degrees of Capricorn. This doesn't happen until 11:02 p.m. Mountain Time. So this really isn't going to happen until like the end of the day on Monday. But with Mars at the anaretic degree of Capricorn here, we may feel this maybe intensity that maybe we need to like take action or do something regarding maybe our goals or, you know, career or some aspect of maybe control in our lives. You know, there may be like we need to do something. Mars is ruling over the north node here, so we may feel like this desire to really try to push forward in some way. As you know, the 29th degree can be a very intense degree at the end of the sign, like, oh my god, I have to do something. And with Mars here, this is obviously regarding, you know, our action, our desires and stuff like that. So there may be an intensity on this day regarding that. And then as it shifts into Aquarius here, of course, it will conjunct Pluto. So yeah, Mars in Aquarius again. So Aquarius is Uranian energy. This is things kind of happening out of nowhere, dealing with individuality, uniqueness. It's a very humanitarian sign. So with Mars here, we may want to take action, maybe more in a rebellious sense, maybe more in a humanitarian sense. Take action towards, you know, anything that goes against maybe aspects of uniqueness, individuality, anything that's against, you know, humanitarian stuff. We want to take action. We want to fight for what's right in terms of the collective. This could be a desire to maybe connect or disconnect in some way. Mars regarding our passion, as I did mention, this is, you know, it's Valentine's week, Mars in Aquarius. This can be very like flighty things. So it could be just kind of out of the nowhere, maybe type of romance, almost like pump and dump type energy with Mars and Aquarius, right? You just want to, you know, hit it and then quit it, right? It's just that Aquarian energy. It's like something that happens out of nowhere, that passion that just happens out of nowhere and then just kind of ends, right? So that could be a bit of a theme here as well. So again, that's happening on Monday, maybe just a bit of intensity with that Mars energy as we wait and then eventually ingress into Aquarius overnight. So let's jump ahead then to Tuesday the 13th here. So at Tuesday the 13th, we can see here we have Mars in Aquarius, and Mars will come into conjunction to Pluto. So with Mars in Aquarius and in conjunction to Pluto, this is really giving this desire, this power for this transformation, this change that is really wanting to occur here in Aquarius. This is giving more passion and maybe desire to this transformational change here in Aquarius. This could be, you know, in a way, I guess, feeling more confident in a sense, maybe taking action, because you're feeling the power of that Pluto energy and in that Aquarian energy, dealing with our uniqueness, our individuality in that sense. And with Uranus here in Taurus could relate to, you know, values, self-worth. Taurus can be very stubborn, doing kind of what it wants in that sense. So with Mars here, it could kind of emphasize that more masculine aspect of that. Mars here, obviously ruling over the North Node and Chiron, and the Moon will be in Aries here as well. So this could be very intense action taking and maybe rebellious action taking against any kind of emotional reaction that occurs. Our trajectory forward, Chiron here is wanting to conjunct or moving into conjunction with the North Node. Not just wanting to, it will. Move into conjunction with the North Node. So again, this could be relating to us wanting to move forward, wanting to heal from these wounds, or being, you know, these wounds could come up and we're wanting to move forward in a direction, like I said, to heal, to not be hurt in that way, or could be triggered maybe in a sense of moving forward and wanting to let go of these more codependent behaviors with the South Node here in Libra. Venus ruling over the South Node, being in Capricorn here still. And of course, dealing with these aspects of, you know, commitments, control, foundational stuff, maybe career goals in some way. But again, there's a letting go that is happening there as well. Also on this day, we're going to have I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Venus in sextile to Neptune. So again, there could be maybe a deceptive type of energy surrounding this in a sense. This could be maybe seeing the higher vision in terms of these Venus-related themes in Capricorn, which could be foundational, relating to career or goals, aspects of control in that sense. And like I said, Venus is ruling the South Node, so maybe it's letting go. Maybe we're really beginning to see the higher vision of that, or maybe we could still be foggy in that sense as well. However, this is a sextile, so maybe this is beginning to maybe, see through the fog. There's an opportunity here to really maybe set some more boundaries, bring in this higher vision in a sense, as we release and let go, because the main theme here is really a lot of change, right? We're getting more and more energy into Aquarius here, Uranus and Taurus. Uranus and Taurus doesn't really want to change. It's very stubborn, but it's really kind of pushing for this, and maybe pushing for this letting go type of stuff and really moving forward. Now that we have Mars here in Aquarius with the North Node here, this is really emphasizing this trajectory forward and really pushing kind of for this Chiron energy too, in terms of like healing or triggering. And this movement forward could maybe hurt in a sense in a lot of ways, because maybe we have to let go of something or someone, or in terms of our material abundance or anything in that sense related to these Venus themes in some way, and that could really hurt. But in essence, maybe it could be for our ultimate healing as well in that way too. So that's kind of playing a role here on this day as well. All right, so that's it for Tuesday the 13th. Let's move to the 14th here. So this is obviously Valentine's Day. So on this day, we're going to have Mercury here in quincunx to Black Moon Lilith. Mercury is also building in square to Uranus, and is building in sextile to this North Node Chiron energy and trining the South Node. Right, so in terms of our communication, there could be a certain maybe kind of awakening on this day with this quincunx here, especially Black Moon Lilith in Virgo. Black Moon Lilith, it's like that rebel feminine type of energy, but it's like seeing the details. It's like, oh, this is happening over here. Oh, what are we going to do? Like, this is getting in touch with maybe that inner kind of like rebel feminine, or like that darker side of ourselves in that sense. And that could relate to our uniqueness and our individuality, and in terms of our communication. And with this square to Uranus here in Taurus, are really shaking things up, or recognizing the value in our uniqueness and our individuality in that way. Or there could be something that's very detail oriented here. As you can see, Juno retrograde is retrograding back into conjunction here with Black Moon Lilith. And so there could be an aspect of our contractual partnerships that are being reviewed, certain details that are coming up that maybe become frustrating in some way regarding these aspects of change that we are going through. And that could be contractual partnerships, that can be marriage, committed partnerships, committed relationships. So in terms of Valentine's Day, there could be maybe a bit of a review of maybe this kind of stuff, or maybe a let go in some ways. Like I said, I don't necessarily really feel like it's going to be romantic this week. I mean, the fact that Valentine's Day happens in Aquarius season every year, I mean, I'm sorry, Aquarius, but Aquarius isn't really a very romantic sign. It's very humanitarian, very, collective oriented, very, understanding your uniqueness, rebellious, technology, very progressive in that sense, but just not very romantic. And I don't mean that, I'm not saying that in a bad way or anything negative for Aquarius. It is what it is, right? So that's kind of in essence, and that's just in general for Valentine's Day. I mean, sometimes a lot of these days, they don't follow with the natural cycles, right? We just kind of place them on a day in a calendar and just expect things to kind of, happen in a way. But also in a lot of ways too, Valentine's Day is really just, in a way, a corporate holiday, making you go out and buy flowers and chocolates and all of this stuff. And if you're single, making you feel sad and depressed, and like you have to go out and buy flowers and chocolates and go and find someone that, you just might have one night with, and then be like, well, that didn't really work out, or that was a waste of time, or it might end up good. I mean, who knows? But in a way, it's just kind of one of those things. right? But again, so with this quincunx here, there could be this frustration again, and this is regarding maybe some kind of realization or awakening. Mercury can be communication that happens out of nowhere, maybe thoughts that kind of happen out of nowhere, or realizing in some way. With this square to Uranus here in Taurus, this is really pushing for that change as well, and this could be, again, regarding our individuality, aspects of value and self-worth. Kind of just thinking now or getting now that, maybe if you're on a date with someone and they don't recognize the value in who you are and your individuality, maybe you're really seeing the details in these things. Remember this rebel feminine energy? It's like, yeah, no, you're not the guy for me. Sorry, bye. Right? Mercury is in trine to the south node here in Libra, a Venus sign. Venus is in Capricorn here, dealing, with potential aspects of boundaries as well, right? And also foundational things, aspects of control. People are too controlling, or maybe you need to set a boundary or something like that. Recognizing, these aspects of change, right? Mercury here in Aquarius. And sextile to the north node here, building in conjunction to Chiron, right? So we want to move forward where we're not going to be hurt anymore. We don't want to be hurt in these spaces anymore. Or it's something that could be triggering when we do really move forward. Maybe not necessarily for us, but for the other person, right? South node Libra can also be letting go of aspects of codependency as well, which can relate to maybe these aspects of control here with Venus and Capricorn too. So I don't really see this, I don't know. Like I said, it's not really a romantic Valentine's Day, and that's not to say that, that if you're already in a committed relationship and you go out for a nice dinner or something, that it's going to end up like terrible. I'm not really saying that, but what I'm saying is there may be some realizations or some awakenings in a sense for those that maybe really aren't meant to be together. Or, you try to go and find someone on a date and maybe there's a sudden revelation that comes through and it's all of a sudden, you're going on a date or something like that. But I really don't feel like, I feel like this is more realizing things that are already existing or in place, or if you've got a date for Valentine's Day, that there may be kind of an awakening or a realization in that sense, or maybe you want to move on from someone that you've already been with in some way. You go on a date and realize, like this isn't really what's meant for me anymore. Like I said, Venus is still ruling over the south node here. It's in Capricorn. We're still dealing with aspects of setting boundaries, aspects of control, aspects of maybe the goals in our relationship, and that may not be jiving with who we're currently with, or, who we're thinking about going with, or whatever, right? And like I said, Mars is here in Aquarius as well, so the passion here, especially with Mars still conjunct Pluto, the passion is still here for this transformation, this change, that desire for change in some way. Of course, there could be intensified maybe aspects of sexual romance in a sense, just due to Mars conjunct Pluto maybe. But this being in Aquarius, this would likely just be a one-time, one-shot kind of thing, right? Aquarius is that lightning strike just kind of out of nowhere, things happening out of nowhere. And I think, not to be crude necessarily, but it's kind of like that pump and dump type energy. It's, you're just going to hit it and quit it, right? Like, that's it. Like, so, I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, then it's Valentine's Day might be good for you, but otherwise it might not. Right? So I don't necessarily think this is a very romantic Valentine's Day. It might be a sexy Valentine's Day, or maybe a kinky Valentine's Day, but not really anything that's necessarily romantic in a sense, in the traditional sense of the word anyway. All right, so that's Wednesday the 14th. And again, like I said, I'm just kind of trying to relate this to the Valentine's Day that is happening, likely from a collective perspective, related to this Mercury type energy, or probably awakening to something, feeling frustrated with maybe something in a practical sense regarding aspects of change that we're being pushed on to move forward. And again, we may be triggering in that, in moving forward. We may know that we have to move forward in some way. There's, taking action to change and move forward in some way, but that could feel like it hurts, right? Chiron in opposition to the south node here, maybe in letting go of some of these things, it could be hurt to let go of some of these Venus related themes that maybe we've been committed to for a while, with Venus and Capricorn here, and ruling like this Taurus Libra energy. So again, this can deal with aspects of our relationships, as well as, you know, our material things, our money, value, self-worth in that sense as well. All right, so I think I've kind of talked enough on that day. Let's move on here to the 15th. Okay, so on the 15th here is when we're going to have Mercury in exact sextile to Chiron, in exact sextile to the North Node, and in exact trine to the South Node. So again, we're still in quincunx here to this Black Moon Lilith energy, and now we're building in quincunx here to this Juno retrograde energy. So, and in fact, Mercury does peak in quincunx at the end of this day to Juno retrograde as well. Sorry, I just kind of noticed that in my little list here at the end. So again, there's a frustration regarding our contractual partnerships, maybe what we've kind of discovered, what we've revealed. There may be like a rebellious, changeable type of action, or very well communication, as we're dealing with Mercury here, that kind of comes through, reflecting this frustration and integration that needs to occur with this, again, with this square to Uranus that Mercury is building into. This is really pushing for that aspect of change. Taurus doesn't really like change. There could be a stubbornness that is existing here, and maybe there could be this desire to maybe stand up for what we want in terms of our value, our self-worth, and those types of things, and how it relates to our uniqueness, our individuality, or even just on a humanitarian sense as well. I feel like there may be like lots of shifts wanting to just really push to change and transform in some way, especially we still have Mars here in conjunction to Pluto at the beginning of Aquarius. This is really taking action to change and transform. This Pluto energy, it's the modern ruler of Scorpio. Scorpio isn't going to take anybody's crap, right? It wants to change, it wants to transform, it's seeing through the bullshit. And with this Mars here, and especially with this, you know, Black Moon Lilith stuff, this Mercury, this sudden revelation, maybe awakening in some way, taking action on seeing through the bullshit, and just really wanting to change and move forward. There's really a push here for this change and this transformation, this taking action towards that, really in some day this week. And with Mercury here, making positive aspects to the node, but there's the nodes, but there's this trine to the South Node here in Libra. Again, there's really a letting go of these Venus-related themes that can deal with our foundational stuff, as Venus is here in Capricorn, relating to our relationships, our money, our value, our self-worth, our material things. This could very well relate to career as well, in that sense. But again, this is a positive aspect here with Mercury to the nodes. So these shifts ultimately are positive, despite the fact that they may feel frustrating. But we may be communicating and taking action in some way that may seem quite rebellious, that may seem maybe a bit angry and very transformative, but ultimately it's for the best in some way here as we move forward. It could be triggering to us, could be triggering these wounds that we don't want to, you know, incur anymore or deal with anymore as we move forward into this new direction, respecting this aspect of self and letting go of these areas of codependency, of injustice, of, you know, maybe all of those things, right? So yeah, that's Thursday of this week. All right, let's move on to Friday here, the 16th. So on Friday the 16th is when we are going to have the first quarter moon. So again, the sun here in Aquarius, in square to the moon here in Taurus. So again, there could be an emotional aspect to our value, our worth, and especially in regarding our uniqueness and if I can talk, our individuality, our uniqueness regarding these aspects of shakeups and change. This could very well relate to that value and that emotional sense that we feel. I feel like this is more in terms of the value maybe in ourselves in some way. And that may be reflected on this day too. We're going to have Venus ingress Aquarius now too, and also moving into conjunction to that Pluto. So again, there's really this transformation and this shake-up, these changes that are trying to occur here regarding to these Venus-related themes. And of course, with Venus being the ruler of Taurus and of Libra, of the South Node here, and with the moon being in Taurus, again, this is highlighting a lot of these shifts and changes that are really maybe occurring in this sense, and we may be feeling it a bit more emotionally on this day as well. Venus will be at this anaretic degree of Capricorn. Let's see, she kind of moves in, just an hour after this quarter moon. So this square is kind of happening just as Venus is making this transformation into Aquarius. So again, I feel like this is regarding this emotional aspect of change, with Taurus being very stubborn, maybe not wanting to move and change in that direction. But I mean, it's happening. Uranus is here in Taurus. There's all this energy in Aquarius. Venus moving into Aquarius. Yeah, I mean, it's happening. And of course, with Venus moving into Aquarius, where Uranus rules, and Uranus being in Venus's sign, there's a mutual reception that's happening here. I mean, Uranus is in square to Mercury. A lot of people say if there's negative aspects like squares, it can take away from that mutual reception. But I don't really, I mean, there's quincunx to the South Node, but there's not, besides that, there's not kind of a lot going on here. But I really feel like this is still enhancing this energy, like this mutual reception is still really here, because them being in their respective signs, or each other's signs, that it's really enhancing this transformational energy with all these squares from Aquarius to Taurus, and now Venus is in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus. It's really emphasizing this. Again, it's really pushing for this shakeup and this change. You know, it's like I said last week during the new moon, right? Uranus and Taurus in square to that new moon in Aquarius. It's like the cattle prod type energy. It's like Taurus doesn't want to move. Taurus doesn't want to budge, right? But Uranus, it's like that cattle prod. It's like kind of that electrocution to get the, you know, to nip it in the butt, get it going in that sense, right? And with this first quarter square, this is emotionally could be triggering in that sense as well as Venus is coming into move here, coming into conjunction to Pluto. Like, we could really feel like this major transformation occurring this week, like I said, with these Venus related themes. And it could feel very intense, you know, on the 15th coming into the 16th, as, you know, with Venus at this 29 degrees of Capricorn here, this anaretic degree, feeling like, oh my God, we got to take action, got to do something regarding these Venus related themes, whether it's our relationships or our material things, our value, our self-worth, and what we want to take action on here in order to transform in some way. And of course, as Venus comes into Aquarius, goes to move into conjunction to Pluto, it's going to be transforming those themes as well, right? There's no more Venus and Capricorn dealing with this foundational stuff, maybe an aspect of control. Well, it's transforming and getting rid of that. And a rebellion in a sense as well, if we're feeling controlled by these Venus related themes, whether it be, you know, our material things, money, or our relationships. And there could be an aspect of justice here with the South Node in Libra as well. So again, I feel like there's not just maybe in a relationship sense in terms of a lot of things transforming and shaking up, but maybe in a very rebellious, even like a monetary or even just a self-worth kind of a sense, right? Because Aquarius is really our, like I said, it's our uniqueness, right? Our uniqueness, in terms of how we express ourselves, our connection and disconnection, connecting with the right group of people, you know, letting your freak flag fly in a sense. Right? So, and there's very much rebellious, transformative energy here, especially with this Mars in conjunction to Pluto as well. Uranus here in Taurus, in terms of our self-worth, our value in that sense too. Uranus wanting to shake things up, but Taurus being very stubborn. This could also relate to, you know, there's Taurus, if it sees the value in that change, really wanting that change and being stubborn and wanting to make that change too, right? If you see the value in that as well. So, but I think it can go both ways. It can go either way, and it can be a bit, you know, kind of frustrating too. On this day as well, Mercury will come into exact square with Uranus. So again, this could be really pushing for shakeups in communication. This could be, like I said, regarding that, maybe we're wanting to change. If Taurus sees value in that change, wanting to change, really pushing and awakening in terms of that transformation. If not, there could be awakening here, pushing towards maybe shakeups in either a material sense, a self-worth sense, recognizing our self-worth and value and our uniqueness in some way. And again, this communication could be very like out of nowhere, sudden, shocking maybe in terms of our material things or whatever in that sense, right? Like but this is really, again, still pushing for that change, right? I mean, this square happened again when this new moon was in this square to Uranus as well, and that was that cattle prod energy. So again, this could be more of that cattle prod energy in terms of our thoughts, our communication, awakenings in that sense, realizations, getting out there, actually saying stuff in that sense, right? Mercury here is still in trine to the south node and sextile to the north node. And of course, Venus is moving to Aquarius on this day as well. So, and conjunct to Pluto and still ruling over the south node. So again, this is really transformative, really shaking things up and really maybe letting go in a sense. And there could be an aspect of communication, I feel like almost like stubborn communication, or communication that's just very like, I don't know. Taurus can be very, it's like when you're talking to, a stubborn person and they're very like, no, this is this, da, 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 da. It's very like, it's a grounded earth sign. It can be kind of like very straightforward in that sense when it's kind of in that I don't want to change, I don't want to move kind of a way. But if it sees the value in this change and I want to change, we need to do this kind of a way, it can kind of, like I said, it can kind of go both ways in that sense. Those who see the value in change, this will be a lot easier for them. Those who are having a hard time with this change and this transformation, this could be very triggering, mentally expressing ourselves in that sense as well. So just kind of be careful with that. Of course, with Mars here still in conjunction to Pluto as well, maybe ruling, it is ruling over this north node here in Chiron, but what I was trying to say was maybe triggering in a sense with Chiron here and wanting to shake things up and move forward in this direction, not wanting to be heard in this way anymore, and really, trying to move forward and kind of communicate and shake things up in a communicative way as well. So there's really an emphasis surrounding this change and really pushing a lot for this transformation stuff to occur this week. If we move to Saturday here, the 17th, is where we're going to have Venus in exact conjunction to Pluto here. Like I said, Venus ruling over the south node. This is the transformation that's occurring, change and the letting go, right? And Mars is here in Aquarius as well, with Venus moving into conjunction to Mars regarding the south node trajectory, activating this north node trajectory and this Chiron type energy, wanting to move forward in a new direction. And again, this could be hard. This really could be hard with this transformation. This could really, hurt in a sense with Chiron here. Both planets that are ruling either end of the nodes are conjuncting here in the sign of Aquarius, conjunct Pluto, regarding all these aspects of changes, shakeups, transformation with Pluto, right? And it could hurt to really have to let go. We could be letting go of these aspects of codependency and stuff. So like I said, this could go either way. This could relate. This could be a positive aspect of this change. We're letting go because we want to move forward, because we don't want to be hurt in the same ways anymore. We want to heal, right? But there could be an aspect to this change and this movement forward that we know that we need to make, that we know we have to do, but we have to let go of something in some way with Chiron in opposition to this south node, and this could be painful. This could hurt, right? It could hurt to let go of those certain things. This transformation and this shakeup could really hurt in a way, in a passionate way as well, or regarding our desires and, things that we want. Things could be changing in a way that maybe we don't want, right? And that could also be triggering in the sense too with this Uranus and Taurus being very stubborn, not wanting to change, seeing value in where it's at, but needing to understand that the change is still occurring. And there may be a lot of communication here regarding, this change in that sense, and awakenings, revelations, communication regarding those aspects of change. And maybe that's not really, this Mercury isn't exactly aspecting Mars, or it's still aspecting this North Node and Chiron energy here. So in a sense, it could be triggering, but we know that we have to move forward here in a way in order to heal in some sense too, in order to let go. This is inevitable transformation in some way, right? So yeah, that's all I really have for this week. In terms of Valentine's Day, like I said, I don't really think it's going to be a very romantic Valentine's Day. But again, it depends. Like if if you're already with someone in a committed relationship, although there's those quincunxes to Juno and Black Moon Lilith in Virgo and with Mercury there, so there could be aspects of frustration and maybe wanting to shake up and change, or communication regarding changes in that. It could be really hard. Again, I feel like there's a lot of change and stuff going on this week. I don't know if you heard the dog barking there when I said it could be hard. I mean, so take that as maybe emphasis in that way, that it could be a hard week for some. But again, changes here. There's a very rebellious aspect and stuff happening this week or so, it seems, really pushing for change and transformation in some way. So yeah, that's all I've got for this week. All right, I hope you enjoyed the forecast for this week. If you did, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications if you want more from me. If you're looking for a reading with me, the link is in the description below. All my socials and everything are also in the description below. So thank you again for watching. Have a great week. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Bye.